Canada, a land of innovation, world-class engineering, and global natural resources. But when it comes to the automotive industry, why do we build for others but own so little ourselves? While countries like Japan, Germany, South Korea, even Vietnam, have built iconic brands, Canada remained behind the wheel, not in the driver's seat. Today, we ask a bold question. Is it time for Canada to stop importing cars and start creating them? Let's start with a little history. Canada has been a major player in auto manufacturing for over a century. From Ford's Windsor operations to General Motors in Oshawa, Canadian workers build millions of vehicles annually. But here's the twist. None of those vehicles bear a Canadian nameplate. Instead, our assembly lines serve foreign automakers. We build for others while importing their vision, their innovation, and their profits. In fact, Canada ranks among the top 15 car-producing nations globally. Yet, we own 0 global automotive brands. But the world is shifting fast. Electric vehicles, sustainable energy, artificial intelligence, and smart mobility are rewriting the rules. Countries like China are flooding global markets with affordable EVs. Vietnam's Vin Fast, barely a decade old, is already making waves in North America. Even Saudi Arabia has launched Lucid factories. So here's the question. If others can do it, why not us? Why not Canada? We have the talent. We have the raw materials. Lithium, cobalt, nickel, the lifeblood of EV batteries. And we have a tech ecosystem ready to innovate. So far, our efforts have been cautious. Think of Project Aero, Canada's first all-electric concept vehicle, a symbol of what we could do, but not yet a car you can buy. No full-scale Canadian automaker, no mass-market model, no signature EV plant with a Canadian badge on it. Instead, we remain dependent, vulnerable to foreign decisions and global supply chain risks. Now imagine a different road. A Canadian EV company born out of clean energy, AI innovation, and global ambition, built in Ontario, designed in Quebec, powered by Atlantic lithium and prairie wind. A vehicle designed not just for Canadian roads, but for the world, a symbol of national pride and technological excellence. With the right government incentives, private capital, and visionary leadership, Canada could leapfrog into the future of mobility. This isn't just about building cars. It's about building a future of independence, sustainability, and global competitiveness. In a world racing toward electrification and autonomy, Canada must decide, do we stay comfortable assembling for others, or do we finally drive our own future? So, what do you think? Should Canada build its own car brand? Let us know in the comments. If you believe Canada's time is now, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who still thinks we should only be the world's garage. Canada's auto future. Innovate. Don't just import. Here's the encouraging part. The wheels are already turning. In 2023, Canada committed over $30 billion in EV investments with companies like Volkswagen and Stellantis building battery gigafactories in Ontario. These aren't just assembly lines. They're stepping stones to full-spectrum auto development. From minerals to motors, Canada is starting to connect the dots. And let's not forget our universities. Institutions like the University of Waterloo and McMaster are already leading breakthroughs in battery tech, AI for autonomous driving, and lightweight materials. Young innovators are ready. The tech is ready. The question is, will leadership catch up? Of course, building a national car brand won't be easy. There are challenges, enormous capital requirements, global competition, scaling production, and convincing a market already loyal to giants like Toyota, Tesla, and Ford. But no nation became a leader by playing it safe. South Korea backed Hyundai. China heavily funded BYD and NIO. Even Tesla was kept alive early on by federal loans and state subsidies. What Canada lacks is not talent. It's vision and risk appetite. We need bold thinking, long-term commitment, and yes, maybe even a little national pride. So what would it take? Let's break it down. Provide seed funding, R&D tax credits, and procurement programs for Canadian-built vehicles. Collaborate with universities, Indigenous communities, mining sectors, and green energy startups to form a united ecosystem. Position Canadian cars not just as local solutions, but as clean, reliable, and globally exportable innovations. Think beyond cars. Integrate with public transport, delivery bots, and smart infrastructure for the cities of the future. A Canadian car brand could be more than just a vehicle. It could be a symbol of energy independence, of climate responsibility, of a country that's not afraid to lead. We've got the engineers, the minerals, the tech brains, the global respect, and perhaps most importantly, a new generation demanding change. The opportunity is knocking, loudly, but Canada needs an answer, not with hesitation, but with horsepower. Picture this: a vehicle designed for Canada's vast landscapes and extreme weather, all-wheel drive, ultra-efficient battery insulation, and advanced AI that adapts to icy roads in real time. The interior? Inspired by minimalist Scandinavian-Canadian design. Heated everything. Voice-controlled systems in English and French. Built-in emergency connectivity for remote regions. And under the hood? Powered by homegrown lithium. Charged with clean hydropower. And assembled using robotic precision in Ontario and Quebec. This isn't a dream. It's a possibility. And it could rival anything from Berlin, Seoul, or Silicon Valley. Success wouldn't come from copying Tesla. It would come from creating a category of our own, the world's most climate-adapted, ethically sourced EVs. In a global market hungry for sustainability and transparency, Canada has a rare edge: political stability, green power, ethical labor, and an abundant supply of critical minerals. In fact, EV buyers in Europe and North America are demanding low-emission supply chains. Canada can deliver that where others can't. This is more than market opportunity. It's a strategic advantage. Industry leaders, engineers, and economists are already calling for bold moves. Listen to tech investor Andrew D'Souza. If we don't build Canadian brands now, we risk being locked into someone else's future. Or auto policy expert Brian Kingston. Canada needs to move beyond assembly and stake a claim in the global EV supply chain. And then there's a youth, students, creators, and developers building micromobility systems, designing battery packs in garages, and experimenting with autonomous software. They're not waiting for permission. They're pushing boundaries. And they could be the force behind Canada's first car brand, if we invest in them. Think about it. What if the next Elon Musk wasn't in Texas, but in Toronto, Regina, or Halifax? Building a Canadian car brand isn't just about prestige. It's about economic transformation. Imagine the thousands of jobs that could be created across the country. Battery technicians in Sudbury, robotics engineers in Toronto, logistics experts in Vancouver, and designers in Montreal. We're not talking about short-term assembly line gigs. We're talking high-paying, future-proof jobs, ones tied to green energy, smart tech, and advanced manufacturing. And beyond economics, there's national resilience. A homegrown auto sector would reduce Canada's dependency on foreign supply chains, especially critical in a world where geopolitical tensions threaten trade routes and part supplies. But let's take it deeper. Canada's Indigenous communities are not just stakeholders. They're potential leaders in this movement. Many of Canada's most important mineral reserves lie on or near Indigenous lands. With the right partnerships, ethical, respectful, and inclusive, Indigenous nations could become equity owners, not just resource suppliers. Imagine an EV built using materials from First Nations territories, powered by their wind or solar farms, and supporting their communities through equity sharing, education, and sovereignty. This isn't just reconciliation. It's innovation with integrity. When we talk about national identity, we talk about the maple leaf, hockey, and kindness. But in a world shaped by mobility and innovation, what if our next symbol was a car? A car that's rugged enough for Yukon winters, sustainable enough for global climate goals, and smart enough for tomorrow's cities. A vehicle that doesn't just move people, it moves the country forward. Canada stands at Crossroads. We can continue being the silent engine behind other nations' dreams, or we can ignite our own. The world is moving fast. It's not waiting for us. So we must ask, are we content being passengers, or will we finally take the wheel? What if cinematic vision of Canada in 2035, with its own EV brands dominating the roads? A deep dive into Canadian EV startups currently trying to make this vision a reality, or a citizen call to action for viewers to support, vote, or invest in Canada's innovation future. In the quiet of Canadian forests, the roar of engines has never defined us. But maybe it's time it does. Not through pollution or noise, but through innovation, purpose, and pride. Canada has the resources, the talent, the will. All we need now is the vision to put it together. Because the future isn't waiting. It's electric, it's autonomous, and it's being built right now all around us. So let's stop asking if we can do it and start deciding how we will. The road is open. The opportunity is ours. The time is now.